Hi, this is a different type of video than I usually do, and it's because I thought of this while laying in bed a while ago. I thought to myself, wow, that's a really stupid idea, but it just wouldn't leave my mind. So, to free myself from my mental prison, I'm making this video. Will you learn anything? No. In fact, you'll probably end up smarter if you don't watch this. But consider watching this to give me the views. Let's get into the mess that this video is before I have the chance to reconsider my life choices. Just kidding, the script is already written and backing down isn't an option. Let's start simple. There are 4 lobby positions in this game. If you weren't aware of that, I don't know, stop playing offline. It's a co-op game anyway. You'll notice there are 3 tiers, A, B, and C. Normally, tier lists have more, but this particular list doesn't have many choices, so I don't see a need for many tiers. Also, there's no S tier. If you're playing Payday 2, you don't deserve an S tier. Green is an okay color. I would put it as B, as it doesn't really stand out. However, keep in mind that if you're green, you have the power to kick people. For this reason, green is an A tier position. Blue is similar to green, it just lacks the ability to kick. About as mid as it gets. Now, red is where I have a problem. The shade of red used in Payday 2 is sorta ugly. While there's nothing wrong with the position, this color just brings it down to a C. Orange is an easy A tier. Why? Because I like the color orange. Remember that this is my personal opinion, which means it's objectively correct. Anyone disagreeing in the comments will be deleted. Right, we have a lot of YouTubers down here as you can see, but to be honest, I'm kind of lazy. Let's just put this here and you can fill the rest in how you want. Can this really be called a tier list if there's only 2 tiers? Sure, let's roll with it. You can't stop me anyway. You may be thinking that an easy difficulty doesn't exist in this game. You're right. However, the tutorial heists are basically normal, with like a -5 spawn cap. So I'd say this is enough for a separate difficulty. Given it can only be played on the tutorial heists, what purpose does it serve? Normal exists for the newbies, those who just installed the game. Other than that group of people, there's almost no reason to ever play on normal. Keeping that in mind, we want new players to have somewhere to start the game, although they join Death Sentence anyway. So I'd say normal has a reason to exist. Hard is effectively the same as normal. The only difference is that you can have tasers. Like, who cares? It's such a small difference that I can't see a reason for it to exist. Very hard is a difficulty in this game. Unlike the name implies, it's an extremely easy difficulty. As for its reason to exist, well, you tell me. What's unique about very hard off the top of your head? Yeah, I couldn't remember either. I looked it up though. It just adds dozers and cloakers. While this might sound like it could be useful, it really isn't. Due to the health and headshot multipliers of this difficulty, they really just exist as a retexture of normal cops. Overkill is what you should get as the step up from normal. You figured out the controls and whatever, here are some tankier enemies and the rest of the special forces. Well, aside from special dozer types. This is a good step in difficulty. Okay, so what does Mayhem do? Changes the cops to be gray? Amazing, what a difficulty. In reality, it's just overkill, but with Deathwish health and higher multipliers. Mayhem was added to bridge the gap between Overkill and Deathwish, but that was when Deathwish was, hard. Mayhem failed at its job then, and it fails at its job now. Also, it's worth mentioning that Steam Rich Presence says that it's Mayhem and not Mayhem, so another negative. Deathwish is a challenge to most players, as you get the maximum tankiness out of the enemies from this game, aside from dozers, and they do fairly high damage. This is an intense difficulty to players even today. I constantly see Deathwish and Death Sentence lumped together by new players as the high difficulties. In reality, Deathwish is a high difficulty, and a solid one at that, but it pales into comparison what comes next. Death Sentence is my difficulty of choice. You'd never know that by watching my videos though. While just about everyone says that Death Sentence is a bad difficulty because it's so unforgiving that it forces you into playing the meta, they have a case of the chronic incorrectness. Yes, Death Sentence is unforgiving, but it's also the highest difficulty. What did you expect? A stroll in the park? Once you put the time in to learn the highest difficulty, as you should, nothing worth having is easy to get. Death Sentence is the most fun you can have in this game. That whole thing about playing only meta is a misconception from the same people that don't want to put the time in to learn. Everything can work on Death Sentence if you're willing to put the time and practice to make it work. One down isn't a difficulty per se, but I wanted to put it here as well. Why does this exist? It doesn't give more experience, it doesn't make unique scripted spawns or unique RNG, or, I don't know, anything. The only thing that one down does is filters out level 39 Dallas from joining your game. In a way, Death Sentence is harder than Death Sentence 1 down, given you are playing it in a public game. To a group that knows what they're doing, there's literally no difference between Death Sentence and Death Sentence 1 down. Crime Spree isn't a difficulty either, but I do what I want. Crime Spree used to be cool. Then Infamy 3.0 happened, killing every incentive to play Crime Spree anymore. It's a shame, because at high levels, Crime Spree is pretty fun. As is, it's dead in the water with basically no players. Hold out. Really? Everyone loves cheaters, especially obvious ones. If you don't know who this is, then good. If you know, then you know. I figured since this guy's gotten pretty creative with his cheating, I'll rank how obvious the cheats are. Let's start with the most straightforward, increased dodge. You'll notice that he doesn't use a HUD, because according to him, seeing uppers range is cheating. However, increasing dodge values isn't cheating. You may be thinking, how do I know he has increased dodge? Maybe he's just lucky. Well, here's a now deleted run which he did with an Express dodge build, and in this clip you'll notice he dodges almost 30 bullets in a row. I'll remind you that X-Prez has a max of 40 dodge when sprinting, and he isn't even doing that this whole time. I'll give the benefit of the doubt and just give the 40%. With 40 dodge, dodging 25 bullets in a row is almost a 1 in 350,000 occurrence, and he dodged even more bullets with less dodge. This whole run has 135 dodges and 35 hits. The odds of that are... well, this calculator won't even tell me. I wonder why this run was deleted. This is pretty obvious to spot in this run, but lots of other runs have extremely suspicious dodge chances as well. Some of the newer runs he's done have extremely low KPM despite how aggressive he plays. You'll notice that there's basically no enemies around no matter where he is. Whether this is a manipulation of spawn points or spawn groups, I'm not sure. But this is a very suspicious thing to notice. I wouldn't say it's painfully obvious like the dodges, but as someone who does solos, I can tell these runs are extremely wrong. AI in this game can be stupid sometimes, but not sit and do nothing stupid, especially in solos. The way AI works in this game is they sort of share a brain. The less cops you have, the faster they'll move and react to stuff. The more you have, the more they'll sit around and just do nothing. In solos, you have the lowest spawn cap in the game, making enemies extremely fast and reactive. Unless of course you go in and manually cripple the task throughput of the enemies. This is something that I'd bet most people don't actually know about, and will just assume that that particular cop is being stupid. You've probably heard about grace periods. Grace periods in this game block all lower damage for 0.35 seconds on death sentence, but equal and higher damage still hits. I bet most players would see nothing wrong in runs where grace is manipulated, but looking closely you can see places where the grace period blocks damage which should have hit. Simply put, the grace periods are extended in some runs, which result in less damage taken. Cheated stats are cheats nonetheless, and these are almost painfully obvious to look at. FBI files can be changed through third-party programs pretty easily. Looking at success and failure, you'll see almost 100,000 heists done. If you add up the heist participations, however, you get about 9,000. Weird how the numbers don't line up. Now, if you look at my stats, for example, success and failure shows about 7,000. Add up the mission clears, and you'll get a similar number. Weird discrepancy, don't you think? Truly one of the most experienced of the current generation of Payday 2. Not to mention these amazing achievement completion times. You may be wondering what the point of this list is. Well, some people think he's a legit player, and I just really don't like cheaters. And hey, if you manage to spot all of these in one run, then you win cheater bingo. Well, those are the lists that I wanted to do today. If you like this type of video, I have lots of other terrible ideas I can put into lists. If not, then I won't do another one of these, at least for a while. Thanks for listening to me ramble about pointless things for a couple minutes, and I hope the rest of your day is better than the past 10 minutes have been.